I'm reviewing TradeMe property listings to see the mistakes that Kiwis are making when selling their properties. Because for some Kiwis, they are selling for tens of thousands of dollars less than they could otherwise get. And through this, you are going to learn how to sell your property in a slow market. And this comes from Shannon, who on YouTube said, very interesting data. How about some advice for selling near the bottom of the market? Lol. Shannon, this one's for you. It is harder to sell a property right now. First of all, there are fewer properties selling. On top of that, houses are taking longer to sell, and you're also facing more competition as there's more listings on the market on both realestate.Co.nz and TradeMe. On top of that, property prices are falling as well. So you're facing a perfect storm. And the question is, if I need to sell my property in a slowing market, how do I do it? Well, the best thing to do is to try and get into a multi-offer situation. That's where you've got at least two buyers who want the property and who you're able to get to bid up the price. Now, the question is, how do I get people through the door and interested in the property so I can get into that multi-offer situation? And that is where some Kiwis are making some basic mistakes. This is a 2-bedroom property in South Auckland with an asking price of $615,000. Now, the first thing to do when trying to get into a multi-offer is choosing the right sales process. And advertising a price is exactly what I'd recommend in this situation, rather than a price by negotiation or an auction. And what I'd be doing with this price is trying to price it slightly lower than other properties on the market so that buyers think that's a great deal, I've got to go and see that one. Now, if this was a more luxury property or it was harder to price, that's where I would go for price by negotiation or an auction. So these guys have got the right sales process. Now let's talk about presentation. And this property is not well presented. There are currently 428 different 2-bedroom properties available in South Auckland. And if you want to sell this one, you've got to make it stand out. At the moment, it's not doing that. The first thing I'd do is I'd move all of the furniture out and I would get it professionally staged so it looks like this property comes straight out of a magazine. I can see that the owner is currently located overseas, and so this furniture is more likely to be a tenant's rather than their own. So what I'd likely do is, this was a tenant's furniture, is I'd give notice to the tenant, say, hey, I'm selling it, here's your 90 days notice. Once they've moved out, get it professionally staged. And you can see another property in the same sort of location. This one has been professionally staged, and look how much nicer the property looks because it's got good furniture in there, it's got good lighting and good curtains as well. And although this would come at a cost, it would help the property sell more quickly and it would help you get more people through the door so you can get into the multi-offer situation. In terms of other presentation for this, I'd also get the gardens tidied up. Look, there's a lot of stuff in here at the moment, and it looks like the house could do with a bit of a wash as well. Sales process and presentation is just one part of selling a property. Let's take a look at this one. Okay, it's really nicely presented, good photos. But if you were a buyer, you'd probably see that it was listed Thursday, the 3rd of November. That's about 3.5 months ago. So as a buyer, what are you going to think? You'll think, well, this isn't selling. Maybe I could get a really good deal on it. Maybe I can get this price down. And what this is saying to me is this owner isn't spending enough on marketing. So if I go through, I can see that they've only got a bronze TradeMe listing. And when I was searching through properties, they were on page 13. So not a lot of people looking at this, and you can see it's only been viewed 625 times. Now, if you compare it to this property that we looked at just before, this one has a gold listing on TradeMe, so bigger photos, better promotion. That property has been on the market only for less than a month, and yet it's had 1,900 views. So this has had more than 3 times the number of people look at the property, despite the fact that it's only been on the market for 1/3 of the time. So what I'd recommend for these people is relaunch the listing, Upgrade your marketing package because you're going to get the most traction when you first list a property. That's going to get you the momentum to get people through the door so you can get into the multi-offer situation. So you've followed all of these tips and you've got yourself into a multi-offer situation. It's very important that you don't automatically just go for the highest offer. And you might think that sounds a bit weird because if you've been subscribed to our channel and watching all of the videos that we release every Monday and Wednesday, you'll know we're all about growing your wealth through property. I'll tell you a story. I had a friend recently sell her property in Christchurch and she got 2 offers, multi-offer situation. One was for $1.1 million, but that sale would only go ahead if the purchaser could sell their own home. That could take 2 months. The other offer was $60,000 less, but it was a quicker sale. The purchaser would let her know if they were going ahead in just 5 days. In that case, my friend took the lower offer because in a slowing market, there is extreme value in certainty. And for my friend, the lower offer but the certain sale was more attractive than a higher offer that might not go ahead.